camo net bonus. If I was a Stug and I was moving around, well, I wouldn't be moving my tracks for this, but if I had to move my tracks, I would lose all those bonuses. You're dead. So T50's dead. Hey guys, welcome back to WWII This is nethervoid, also known as John, doing another strategy series for you this week. And this week I'm going to do the T49. This is the American turreted Tier 5 tank destroyer. And if you just look at the tech tree right here, it's in this new line of tank destroyers. Next up is the Hellcat, which is what everybody's raving about, and I can't wait to get it. So I need to do this tank this week because not only is it kind of a new tank, I've already done all the research and done the Hellcat and everything, so there's no reason for me to keep this tank. So basically, the way you play these turreted tanks, American TDs, they're very fast, but their turrets turn kind of slow, and they have really bad armor. So what you want to do is use the speed to get into a great flank position, and then use your turret, turn it sideways a little bit like so, and then pop out a tiny bit to shoot some guys until they're looking at you. Once they start looking at you, back up and just wait until they focus on the primary target again. When you do that flanking, usually you want to try to have them more basically busy with somebody else. That's kind of how you want to play these tanks, until you get really high up in the tree, obviously. But these Tier 5s and 6s, you kind of want to let them be busy with somebody else. That's kind of how you play this tank. Use the speed to your advantage, flank guys, get really deep into enemy territory, and shoot them in the back or the butt, or the side when they're basically focused on somebody else. So let's get into these statistics on this thing. 360 hit points is pretty standard for Tier 5 TD. It's actually a little, like 10 hit points more than the Stug, which is kind of odd. Usually the German tanks have more hit points than anybody else, but so pretty good hit points, but you know, pretty average. 360, 10 points doesn't really matter. 10 hit points, 460 horsepower, pushing 14 tons. That is where this tank gets all its magic. 61 speed limit. You will get to that speed limit. I get to 60, no problem. This thing's it's very quick. You can respond really well with this tank to places on your team that are having problems. You can respond, get over there, and help those guys out. 32 track diverse. It's actually not that bad. It's a little sluggish on turning, but it's, again, not too bad. Armor, none, pretty much. Let's see. 350 view range. Not that bad for Tier 5. Kind of average. It doesn't really matter on TD because you shouldn't be really up front anyway. Let other people spot for you. 745 signal range is great. That's a great radio for this slow of a tank. You're going to have no problems with any kind of radio signal if you get that 745 radio pretty much for the whole game. So let's get into some stats. Modules. Obviously, the 745 radio we just talked about. Tier 10. I wonder if we can have this all the way up there. T30. Well, it doesn't matter because you're going to have it all the way up to, let's look. It's T28 prototype. Yeah, see? It's already unlocked. It's the same. Well, that might not be the same radio. 528. Hold on a sec. 528. It's probably only up to here. Yeah, see? That's actually a different radio too. Weird. Well, we'll talk about that on research. But get that radio. Let's look at it on this tech tree. You're gonna get that radio, the 619. It's a pretty awesome radio. It's used by lots of other tanks, and the Hellcat, especially, you know, Hellcat, a couple other SPGs and stuff. It's a great radio. You're only gonna use it for a couple tiers, but still get it. These other radios are okay, but this 745 is awesome. Tracks, you're really not going to get much, 2 degrees per second, but you're going to need it for the rest of these modules. Alright, so I was doing a little bit of checking. You're going to need that upgraded you're going to need the upgraded suspension to get the turret, and then you're going to need that turret to get the better guns. So obviously you're going to have to get that higher suspension. But you don't get a lot out of it, 2 degrees per second. I mean, that's okay. That's probably pretty standard. But you get this mainly, you want the tonnage out of it. So you can throw that bigger engine on at that point, 460. I mean, 330 is actually still pretty good, but the 460 makes it fly. I mean, it's super fast at that point. Turret, it doesn't matter really on armor, and pretty much turns the same. It's actually a slight degradation there to the view range, but you get usually a slight reload bonus with those turrets, and it's a hidden bonus. So get it anyway. You're going to need it for the gun, so it doesn't really matter. Now, you're going to start off with this 110 pen, 75 damage gun, which is really not that bad. You're going to be able to pen people pretty good, especially from the side and the rear, with this Tier 5 gun that it starts out with. But when you upgrade to this Tier 6 gun, 128 pen, 115 damage, this is the same gun that they have on the Easy 8 and the E2. It's a really awesome gun. Well, I'm not sure if it's exactly the same. It's the same pen and damage. And I think they get a little bit more reload bonus, but But this is an awesome gun for this low-level TD. It's a lot like the Stug's gun. Great gun on that tank too. I actually think this is a better tank than the Stug because with the Stug you can't hide the hull when you fire. With this tank you can because you can turn it to the side and just have a little bit sticking out and then quickly back up behind the building again. With the Stug you have to turn and then back up to the building, so it takes a lot longer to get out of the way. This thing, I think this tank is better than the Stug. So that's all the modules. Let's do some research now. So here's the T49 tech tree, and right off the bat you should have both of these radios because you did them on the M8A1. The other thing is, if you've done the American medium line, you'll see the M4 Sherman here, you should have this engine already. Or if you've done SPGs. I think that's it. Yep, so you should already have that engine if you've done either of those two other lines. You should also have this gun from the M8A1, and this gun is from the, if you've done the other American TD line, T40 and M10, those are tier 4 and 5, you should have that gun. So I had all this, so I had all these 5 modules already unlocked. All I had to do was unlock the turret and the tracks, and then shoot for the Hellcat. So that was kind of an easy tech tree for me. But you will at least start with these radios, but hopefully we'll start with all these this gun and this engine as well. That'd be kind of cool. You'll also start with this gun, yes. So you'll have at least these 2 radios and gun. Nice upgrades to get started with. So that's the tech tree, pretty simple. It's going to be priorities off to the side. I would get tracks, then turret, then this gun. If you don't have the radio, I'd still get tracks, turret, and then gun, and then go to the radio, and then, engine. You should already have these radios, I'm not even going to talk about it. Then do the Hellcat. Alright, let's get back to my garage. So now that we've done that, we're going to do equipment. Now, I don't put equipment on tanks until tier 7, but for TDs I make an exception. I just throw camo net on there because it's so cheap. Especially if you get all your equipment on, when it's 50% off, which I do advise. It happens a couple times a year. Save up a lot of money and buy that equipment when it's half off. I usually get all my camo nets for 50,000 because it's half off. I just buy a bunch of them. So I throw one on my TD and I'll move it around and all the way up the line. With the rounds, just get about 4 or 5 HE. If you need more, 6, and the rest AP is pretty much how you do the rounds. It's pretty easy. Now, tier 5, I do start putting a small repair kit on. 5 and 6, I do a small repair kit. 7 and above, I do a full rack of consumables, and 4 and below, I don't do any. And that's because it starts to make sense to get these repair kits and stuff, because these are 3,000 a pop, and the repair of your tank actually starts to make sense that you'll get these repair kits, because you don't want to lose your whole tank because you got tracked out in the open and they get RD'd. So that's pretty much what I do with consumables and ammo. Now your crew is going to look pretty much like this. This is pretty high up there, 77%, and I think a lot of that is because I went after this radio for 9,000 XP. But it's good to go after. I like to elite my whole tank before I move it up. So 77%. This crew is okay. They lack a little bit with aiming. You'll see some shots kind of go wide in some of the games I play. But it's still not a super bad crew for a tier 5 tank. That's pretty much it. So let's get this thing in some games. Let me show you this thing in action. Here's a great game I had on the mines. And I do play this map. Seems like I do a lot of this map in my strategy series. But that's because... excuse me, this is a great map is why. Comarin, I went on that map, but it's so campy the games are just boring. Usually I shoot like 2 guys and kill 1 guy and like the game's over. It's just really not fun. In a TD on this side of the map, I usually do try to come up this ramp here. As you can see, the M3 Lee is also playing as a TD kinda. We got a couple grills up here. This is a great spot to kind of defend basically this whole side of the map. You can shoot anybody over here and anybody up over here by the hill and stuff. You can shoot them too. So it's a great spot to hang out, especially behind the bush right here with the camo net. Really, it's going to be pretty hard to see me. And one of the great things about this tank is you can turn the turret and you will not lose your camo bonus. Not only from not moving, you'll still get your not moving camo rating, which is better than the moving camo rating, but also you can see I still get my camo net bonus. If I was a Stug and I was moving around, well, I wouldn't be moving my tracks for this, but if I had to move my tracks, I would lose all those bonuses. You're dead! So T50's dead. Well, he got tracked. I probably shouldn't have moved right there because I just lost all my bonuses, but whatever. Martyr 2, that's a great TD. Tier 3 TD, it's pretty awesome. Now I'm going to relocate. get this. I think it's because I'm trying to get this rock to kind of shield me from their arty. BDR G1B, nice tier 5 French heavy tank. It's a great tank. There's a strategy video on that if you want to check the indexes. Also, definitely check the indexes. I keep getting like questions. Hey, where's the strategy video on this tank? It's like, just look at the index. That's what they're there for. The index has links to all the different strategy series I've already done, and they're very convenient, and it's very obvious which ones are which. So check out the index link you see at the top of the screen here. You'll see the American index link, and those index links link to all the other countries' indexes. So the whole strategy series is all linked together via those annotations. Remember, you have to have annotations on to view them. You can do that. You can turn annotations on at the bottom of the video on the right a little bit. There should be a hide or show annotations. So here's the KV1 updated on 7.3. It's still an awesome tank, but it's definitely not what it used to be. Because I'm jacking this noob up. Well, not noob, but it's still a super slow tank, but the gun is just not what it used to be. And it's actually not as bouncy as it used to be, which is good. It's much more balanced. I mean, it's still, I still think it's way better than the T1, but it's not the super powerhouse it used to be. I think before 7.3, the KV was the most overpowered tank in the game for its tier. Looks like the grill's getting some nice shots. This is a little bit boring right here. So we're holding them back. Obviously 9 to 5. They're getting their butts whooped right here. We're already moving on their base. So this game is pretty much over as long as we don't do anything stupid. Like, well, okay, here we go. KV's going to keep moving up anyway. Not a bad idea. It's not like he's going to say, well, I would have RTB'd right here, return to base, but KVs think they're invincible. Well, the BDR G1B's still here. Interesting, I'm not shooting at him. Okay, here we go. This gun's pen can pen anything tier 5 and below, no problem. That's what I love about this tank. That, and I don't have to give up my rate and my bonus for moving around a lot, moving my turret. Can't wait to get to... Oh, I just saw a tree fall. Remember when I've been telling you about trees? I know somebody's over there now. They're making a move on our base right here. Boom! Tracked! Let's do this. Let's do this! He's aiming right at me. Boom! You're dead! KV1's dead. So again, KV1, great tank, but I'm better. Now you'll notice I have 9 HE rounds. I didn't change my HE until just a little bit ago. Boom! You're dead. Well, you're about to be. Now you're dead. So there's the martyr. You never did kill him. Until now? Yes! Big damage on this tank. 5 kills. So, nice game. 800-point game right there. Wait. What's that? 900-point game? 950-point game? Anyway, really good game there. I only have a Class 2 Mastery badge, which is top 80%, but that's okay. If I kept playing this tank, I'm sure I could get a Mastery in it, Ace Tanker, but whatever. Let's get another game, though. So here's another game I had. This one's on Siegfried Line. This is not as good of a game, but I did want to show you a game where I got matched up with like tier 7s and 8s and stuff, because this does happen quite a bit in these tier 5 tanks. I mean, if you've played tier 5 tanks, you already know this, but I think the T49 gets pretty good matchmaking. It's not like a KV1 or 2 or whatever, and you get matched up with tier 7s all the time and tier 8s. It does tend to get into tier 5 and 6 games a lot better, but it still does get matched with these tier 8s. I mean, so you're going to have to learn how to play when you're playing against tier 8s. Now, this tank excels in this kind of game because it is a flanking deep enemy cover or deep enemy territory tank, and that does help it a lot. If it was a slow-moving tank, like those tier 5s and 6s when it's stock or something, those tanks have a horrible time in this game because they're meant to be right in people's face. They're not meant to flank. So it's really hard to play in these kind of games. Here's a Stug. That thing has a great gun. Let's get him out of the game. Or let's shoot the house. I mean, you can do that too. The house has a lot of hit points though. Probably not going to be able to kill him. I've never killed a house yet. Well, some of the shacks. But these houses are probably pretty indestructible. So when you're in these kind of games, let the big tanks lead. Don't push up, because if you push up into areas where you don't know what's up there, you're going to get killed, probably in one shot. So be cautious. It's okay. You don't have to... Don't defend. Don't just sit there next to the base and just say, oh, F it. I'm in a tier 8 game. I'm not going to move. Just move up with some tier 7s and 8s. Support them. Flank the guys they're firing at. You know, let them take the shots. Okay, here's somebody I can mess with. The aim time's pretty good on this tank. See that? Of course, I'm shooting at the side of a barn. That kind of helps. Let's kill that bread loaf. Oh, man. Ooh, PZ4. Let's kill this guy. PZ4s are dangerous, though. They have good mobility. I mean, decent mobility. It's not really that great, but that gun is ridiculous. Look at that. Just took half my life. Nice. Tracked him, too. I'm not going to pop out. He will kill me. So, I let somebody else kill him. Nothing wrong with that. I'd rather be in the game than get the kill shot. Now, this is a 3601. Much hardier tank, so I feel pretty good flanking this guy hardcore. Again, like I said, he's not aiming at me. If he was, I would not be out here shooting at him. So he's focused on that IS because he wants to kill him really bad. He did get a kill. Somebody got the kill on him. The Hummel did. But in doing so, he lost half of his life, and now he just died. So see, I'm still alive. The IS did die, but the Hummel killed him. But I let the IS take the shots, even though he died. With an IS, you need to hide more. That guy was way too exposed. The IS does not have good armor to be exposed like that. So again, here I'm showing you the mobility. I'm moving all around the map, trying to help guys out. Looking for my next target here. Looks like all that's really left are tier 8s, so that's not really good for me. But maybe I can get some shots on the backside or the side or the butt or something like that. What in the gut? T49. I know it's what in the butt. If you've seen the video I was talking about, where I said that a lot. What was that, Fan Friday, Andrew? Something like that? Yeah. So here's a KB5. Probably not going to be able to pen this guy, but what I can do is take his attention off my friend. Okay? See, that's what I'm doing right now. He's just getting hit. He is not sure what's going on. Now the Tiger 2 is going to take some shots at him. And if he's not going to shoot at me, well, I'll just shoot at him all day. I'm wondering how I got so many penetrating shots without getting any damage on this guy. I don't really understand that. Oh, there we go. So, penning a KB5, I feel pretty good about that. Now he's stopped focusing on me because he realizes I'm not a threat. But I took a couple shots off that Tiger. The Tiger 2 there, so... Did my job. That was my job right there. Distraction. T59, you will have a hard time shooting these, obviously. They're hard even in tier 8s, actually. Well, not hard, but if you don't know where you're shooting, anyway. But in this tank especially, they're hard to pen. 128 pen, not going to be easy. I'm basically trying not to die here. You don't want to get this far into the game where you're basically capping and then you die. You just don't rush out there. It's not worth it. So I had a 850 point game here. Pretty nice game as well. Look at that credits. Nice credits. Repairs are really low. I shot 5 guys. One more would have had a Confederate. Nice amount of hits for how many times I shot. This is a really awesome tank. Get this tank. It's a lot of fun. Once you get it fully upgraded, it's even more fun, but even stock, it's not too bad. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about this tank. I'm also working on a lot of new Russian tanks that came out with 7.3 that kind of erased a lot of my progress with Russians. KV1 should be out soon. KV2 I'm working on. A lot of the Russian tanks I'm working on. So anyway, I'll see you guys later. Let me know what you think. Like, favorite, comment, and see you guys later. Wow, awkward. Bye.